Hello and welcome back to Stylist Soul Tribe Conversations. This week's episode is a little bit different. This is a replay from the vision casting workshop day 1 that we did on January 2nd. So I do 2 big virtual events per year, and then on the back end of that, I launched Stylist Soul Tribe. And for the last couple of years since I've had the podcast, I have turned the replays of those videos into podcast episodes and YouTube videos because everything that goes on the podcast goes on YouTube. And sometimes it's just a little bit easier to find. So if you participated in the vision casting workshop, you could totally watch this replay and get a little bit of inspiration. If you have not yet made your vision board, I would actually highly encourage you to do that. If you have never been to a vision casting workshop before, hello, this is the 6th annual vision casting workshop that I've done with Stylist Soul Tribe. And each year it just gets bigger and better and more amazing. You will notice this was all recorded live in a Zoom room. There's other voices. It was streamed live onto Facebook, so there's a lot of me reading comments, reading the chat. I did do a good rush of editing, so if it's a little bit choppy, I tried to take out the things that didn't matter that just came with, being live video. But regardless, I wanted this to live somewhere where it's easy to come back and find, and maybe new people stumble upon it. So this is Vision Casting Workshop Day 1. I'm also going to upload Vision Casting Workshop Day 2 as another podcast episode so that they are very easy to find. So I just wanted to give a little preface before it goes into the episode or the replay that is what this week's podcast episode is. And I hope that you guys enjoy. And like I said, the 2 days of replays will be the next 2 weeks of podcast episodes, and then we will go back into regular scheduled programming. So I hope you enjoy. Bye. Welcome. Over these next 2 days, we are going to be releasing the old and stepping into the new. Last year's Vision Casting Workshop took place before the new year. We are kicking this Vision Casting Workshop off on the 2nd and on the 3rd. We're still very fresh into the new year. I know a lot of you take off the week between Christmas and New Year's. I'm always gauging. I was a little bit worried with the date and time that we chose for this one. I know some people are back in the salon being a Thursday and Friday and being after the holidays, but I just like to take a moment. Obviously, when you clink your glasses and give a New Year's kiss at midnight, it feels like that's the start of the new year. But I just think it's important, whether you want to do this in January, even if you want to do this in March, I don't care when you do it, but I think there's something really helpful and I have found really valuable. And I really noticed my life and my business drastically started changing when I started creating a ritual of, okay, a chapter is closing. I'm acknowledging, I'm paying attention to all the energy and honoring what took place in 2024. I'm being selective about what I took from it, about what I didn't want to take from it, what I want to leave in the past. And I'm really intentionally stepping into a new year. I say it all the time. I love a fresh start. I go crazy over New Year's. I go crazy over first day of school. I love Monday's my favorite day of the week. I love a fresh start just to say, okay, I can get everything set and ready to go, and then I can start anew. I love the morning. I'm a morning person. I just love the vibe behind that. Kimber said, I freaking love Monday. Same, I love Monday. We are doing it after New Year. It is weird, Paloma, but it's January 2nd, so it's not that. But I agree. It was almost like when midnight hit, it was like, fuck it, am I ready for 2025? Here we are. Did I do the stuff I need to do to prepare? But that's what we're doing over these next 2 days. And we are going to be, this vision casting workshop is actually 11 days of an experience, I think, if I'm doing the math correctly. So January 13th, we will have another VIP only call that will not be streamed live into the Facebook group. If you're watching the replay between now and January 13th, you can still join us VIP and come to that January 13th call. And that is when I'm going to have my vision board done. My vision board hasn't even been started yet. My vision board will be done by January 13th, and I hope that all of yours will as well. And mornings, if I wake up after 7 a.m., half the day is wasted. No joke, last year I was gluing my last piece of my vision board at midnight on New Year's. I'm also a sucker for a fresh start. Yeah, so everybody is definitely feeling that vibe. Okay, so those of you that don't know me, I don't think I see anyone here yet that I don't recognize at least a little bit, but I am a hairstylist by trade. I'm a studio suite owner. I still work 2 days a week behind the chair because I love doing it. I'm a super connector by nature. That is not something that I've chosen to do. That's just a superpower that I have. And I'm a manifesting machine by divine design. That is something that I've chosen to claim for myself. I chose that back in 2016 when I first got introduced to the law of attraction and this whole world of manifestation. And ever since then, I have truly been a manifesting machine. I'm lucky. I win shit. What I say is going to happen typically comes true. I'm not even surprised by it anymore. And you guys can decide to be that as well. Just start saying it. Just start telling everybody that you're a manifesting machine, and it's wild. Things just start happening. Samantha said my vision board was done when we left the retreat. I feel very aligned with simplicity of what I created there. So then don't overdo it, Samantha. I love that so much. Those of you, we did just a little 2-pager at the retreat. Those of you that feel great about your vision board, don't waste any more ink. Detach, say, this is it. I don't need to add anything more to it. I feel fantastic about what I have created. For the past 6 years, I have poured my heart into Stylist Soul Tribe, a mastermind membership created to elevate beauty professionals. So those of you that are all here, most of you have been in Soul Tribe in the past or in Soul Tribe currently, you're familiar with what that is. Together, we fostered growth, embraced new mindsets, and turned dreams into realities. Today, I'm here to help you do the same. Agenda overview. This agenda is very vague because once we get started, we're not going to follow this like exactly to a T, but from now until we'll see when we wrap up Q&A, we may have time for a short break before we go into the VIP only session with Mila. If I keep talking at the rate that I'm talking, we probably won't have any break time. So I'm going to try to start flying through these slides now that I've got everything set and ready to go. We are going to dive into vision casting mostly today. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about vision. And then tomorrow, we're really going to work on habits, routines, and reverse engineering our vision board into our real life and really like setting a plan. And that was inspired by the retreat workshop. So those of you that were at the retreat, it will be some duplicates, but I also think it's important and helpful to set aside time and dive into that anytime. And those of you that were at the retreat, we were in Miami. It was hot that day. So I think having a fresh perspective in the comfort of your climate controlled home could be really valuable tomorrow. And then day 3 through 11, we will be chatting inside of the VIP Marco Polo group. So again, those of you that are VIP, you will get access to that Marco Polo group as soon as we're done today. That is where we can just talk about any of our takeaways, any of our breakthroughs. We're doing a breathwork session with Mila today. She is already in the Marco Polo group. She said she wants to be in there too. Answer any questions that you guys have, talk about any breakthroughs that come up with the breath work. I've never done a breath work session with Mila. I'm very excited to see what we have in store for that. So that will be days 3 through 11. And then on January 13th, which is day 12 at 3 p.m. Central, at 3 p.m., we will do our final wrap up VIP call. We will all have our vision boards done by then. We will share them. That one will not be live streamed onto Facebook. And then we will shut down the Marco Polo group. That's when the Soul Tribe application period closes. And we will get to work on making our year what we want it to be and what we decide that it is going to be. All right, let's get into it. Some quick housekeeping details. Be mindful of the session start and end time, which you guys are here. We'll be live together from 10 to about 2. We might end at 1:30-ish today. Mila said she typically needs an hour for breath work, but then we may do a little bit of Q&A and reflection at the end, but we're going to hard stop by 2 p.m. and then we'll just move the conversation into Marco Polo if we need to. Minimize distractions and silence your notifications so you can fully engage in the experience. Again, those of you on Facebook, I highly encourage you to get into the Zoom room because this is really where the action is taking place. Use your workbook and journal for reflection. Who has printed their workbook? Does anybody have a physical workbook in front of them? No? Oh, we got one over there. Paloma's got it. Amanda's got a notebook. Ashley's driving. Ashley, be careful. The only time of year I buy printer ink is vision casting time. I know you guys say there's a membership with HP. I know I need to be part of it. I have not done it yet. We got that. I got home. I started printing this thing and then I ran out of paper. And so we ran back out, got paper, and I finally got it all printed. So if you don't have the workbook, that's totally fine. You can use it on your phone. You can use it on GoodNotes, whatever you guys want to do, or you can just write in a notebook. It's totally fine. Everything that we're going over, I'm going to share with you what it is. I'm going to tell you the prompts. You can totally do it just in a notebook. Kinko's/FedEx will print for cheap. I am in a coffee shop because it's going to be quieter than at home. Haha. So yeah, a lot of this is, you can even take what we do today. I'm going to try to have some pauses where we all really do spend time reflecting and filling out the workbook. But again, you have until January 13th to get all of this done. So if you consume all of it today and then spend time later or spend time on Monday or spend time over the weekend or whatever you want to do, really filling it out. That's totally fine. Megan's taking notes for now. Is it the same one as last year? It's not the same one. And if I have to say so myself, I would say it's better than last year. So definitely print the new one, Caitlin, because it is not the exact same. We added some new things, but those of you that have been multiple years, I would love to know if there was additions, like just solo polo me at any point, additions to this workshop that you really liked, or if I got rid of anything from last year and you're like, why did you get rid of that? Tell me. Because I always say sometimes I'm too close to it and I wish that I could tap into all of your guys' brains. So I'm creating this. Okay. VIP sessions will take place via Zoom. Check your links and ensure you're set up ahead of time. Drop your questions in the chat and ask during Q&A. We're here to support what you guys are already doing. I love how active the chat is being. Again, I hate when I'm talking into a void and I can't tell that anybody's listening to me. So thank you. Okay. Sip of coffee, take a breath, and let's get into it. Caitlin's got her workbook downloaded now. Okay. A few years ago, after probably 4 years of running Stylist Soul Tribe and coaching stylists and beauty professionals, I took a course, just to be honest with you guys, I took a course and was proposed to really think about, when I've been coaching over all the years that I've been coaching, what are the things that continue to come up over and over again? And what is like a repeatable format that I find myself coaching into? And what is my zone of genius? You can say, where do I shine? And through that course, I came up with the cycle of success. So I have been coaching to this now since the end of time, but I've put a name to it. I've put a format to it. I've put a structure to it over the last few years. This is a peek at the Stylist Soul Tribe cycle of success. So if you start up in mindset, that's number one, but you'll see there's also a circle. So even when you're at mindset, the cycle continues to go on. This is my creative process. This is my way of living. This is what I have found after coaching for years, at least where I shine. Check these boxes, go in this order. And that's at least how I exercise my creativity and grow my business personally. So we start at mindset, then we move on to vision. Those two are going to be really what we're going over these next 2 days. Schedule, clientele, and income. So after you really have your mindset clear, you have a vision set, you know what it is that you're working towards, you have a finish line, you know where it is you want to head, then I really like to get control of your time and make sure that you're working your dream schedule, because I think we work in an industry where truly anyone can work their dream schedule, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually you can. So next I have people look into schedule. After schedule, I make sure you love all of your clients, get rid of any clients that don't light you up, continue attracting clients that super light you up to grow a business that you're obsessed with. After we have those set in stone, then I like to focus on income. That's when you start earning price increases. That's when you start working less, making more, all that jazz. And then again, this last part is really my creative process. Once I have that really good meat and structure in place, this is where the masculine and the feminine energies balance out and meet. I then like to really lean into white space. White space can be meditation. It can just be energetic space, open to new ideas, open to what's next, really solidifying what it is you've created and knowing that you're craving something more, leaving space for that, which then leads into big magic ideas, which Stylist Soul Tribe has been a big magic idea of mine. The cycle of success has been a big magic idea of mine. My latest big magic idea was the board of support inside of Stylist Soul Tribe. So I'm very much in the midst of bringing that new baby to life right now. But again, mindset is the start. Mindset you can almost pluck out and put at the bottom and say it's foundation. You still need your mindset in check when you're in schedule stage, certainly in income stage, and big magic stage. You always need mindset. So that's why I like to start there. And these next few slides that we're going to go into is really how I personally have learned to keep my mindset in check and be the best version of me so that all the rest of these things can take place. Okay, so with that, we are doing a Grateful AF Mindset Challenge. We have done this the last few years, so I'm going to flip through my workbook just for those of you that have those in front of you and get to the part where it says Introduction to the Grateful
AF 30-day mindset challenge. So the Grateful AF mindset challenge is a transformative 30-day experience designed to rewire your mindset and integrate gratitude into every aspect of your life. Through daily practices that ground your energy, elevate your spirit, and attract abundance, you'll create lasting habits that shape your outlook and amplify your potential. Over time, these consistent actions build a solid foundation of gratitude, empowering you to enhance your mindset, nurture stronger relationships, and achieve greater success. The Grateful AF Challenge changed ever so slightly from last year. You'll see it's a little bit different, but really the same energy overall. Step one, I think, is creating a sacred space. Start by setting up a space that feels uniquely yours, a sanctuary for spiritual connection and self reflection. For some, this might include an altar with meaningful objects like candles, crystals, or spiritual tools. For others, it could simply be a cozy corner of a room that feels peaceful and private. My sacred space is tucked into my office closet. I can see it right here, where I connect with my higher self on a daily basis and guides each morning. Let this space be a grounding and inspiring retreat just for you. I move a lot. That's like kind of my MO. Ryan and I have moved so many times together, and I just moved in April. And to be honest, it took a long time for my sacred space to take form in this new house. My morning routine, I don't want to say it was off, it just got really different. Every time you move, I remember a few years ago, my morning routine was spot on. It was probably when we started the vision casting workshop. And then Ryan got a puppy a few years back when my morning routine was like spot on, best it's ever been. That threw me for a loop, and I had to redo and reconfigure my morning routine. And we moved back in April. And like I said, it took a while. Everything was in boxes for a while. The corner of my office closet is obviously going to be one of the last things to be unpacked. Over the summer, a lot of you guys saw we redid our patio. So over the summer, in the spring, and even into the fall, my sacred space for a little while became my patio, my hammock on my patio. We have a propane fire pit out there. I would go out there first thing in the morning with my coffee to watch the sunrise, to check on my garden. It was beautiful. It was magical. And then it got cold in Illinois. And just recently, I really, like, I had my altar set up, but it wasn't really calling my name the same way that it used to. And just recently, I did a full refresh
Pero
on
es que
my
Ashley
sacred
exagera
space.
con el...
Oh. This is something that is a constant struggle for me, even though I really want it. Okay, Megan, we got to talk about that. Write that down. Let's save that for Q&A just because I would love to dive into it now, but I don't want to get super off track. But I think one, recognizing that sometimes it is a struggle. Right this moment, probably because I knew the vision casting workshop was coming up, but probably 2 months ago, my sacred space in my office closet really became, I've been saying it for years, and Leisha will quote it, delicious. It needs to be such a good space that you are like excited to get out of bed and go visit it. And every time I come down, although it feels a little bit weird going from upstairs to my main floor, down into my basement, into my office, into the closet, into the corner of the closet, I have all my Soul Tribe merch hanging in there. I just cozy up on the floor. I have an altar. I have all my cards. I have my vision boards in there. I have a lot of different little things that just mean something to me, but it like calls my name. It calls me in. And every time I end up coming down here and doing my meditation and doing all the things in the morning, I am without a doubt 1000% a better version of myself all day long. If I start my day like that, I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, I'm a better hairstylist, I'm a better coach, I'm a better friend. I'm just better when I do that. So I really encourage you guys to start to find something like this sacred space. In the past, we've talked about people have said, my house is small, my kids will wake up, I can't. And I've been there before too. Inside that shopping list, once you guys registered, I put a altar box. I know some people like use their sacred spaces like a box, and they pull it out and it's all their little goodies and things that make them excited to wake up in the morning. It can be whatever it needs to be. Don't overthink it. I just encourage you to keep working at it until it's delicious and you crave it in the morning. And then once you get it, you realize that, is the altar box not available? Dang, well, just type in altar box into Amazon and you'll find it. I would love to see your setup for inspo. I'll show you guys in Marco Polo as soon as we're done here, because it really, I feel a little weird. I always wonder, are my kids gonna like look back on their childhood and be like, what was mom doing in that corner of her closet with the candles on and the lights on and the meditation music? Benny will, if my kids wake up and I'm not up, they know I'm down here. Benny loves coming down and laying with me while I'm wrapping up my stuff down here. I don't know. It's a very different, interesting, and I keep it tucked away because it is private. I'll share it obviously with you guys, but It's spiritual, it's private, it's what means something to me, and it for energetic purposes and just like my own peace of mind, I wouldn't want it like in my living room. Like I wouldn't want my guests walking by it and getting their energetic residue on it, but I also like I don't know, it's just a private personal thing. So I definitely will show it in Marco Polo so you guys can have some inspiration. As a kid of a mom like that, I do not think that. LOL. I'm obviously here. Okay, so Paloma has really woo parents as well, and she does not think like that. So that's great. Mila said, I'm actually teaching my son breath work and yoga, and I wonder if he's going to think that I'm weird when he's older too. Who knows? But we're just finding the tools and modalities that work for us. And if it works for them, great, they can take them. If it doesn't, they can find what works for them. Love energetic residue. Yeah, it's real. So yeah, it's just very sacred. I'm very particular about it. I don't want people touching it. I don't want people asking questions. It's just my little space, my little retreat. And I remember I've told the kids this before too. Benny has a rock collection and he'll say, can I make a little spot? Go do that in your room. Don't touch mine. Go make your own. So that is my sacred space. All right. So you know what I think we should do? Pause real quick. As I've been talking, we're at 10:30, so we're doing pretty good on time. Let's take just a few minutes. Those of you that have the workbook, those of you that have a piece of paper, I will read to you what the workbook says, and let's just take a little bit of time to fill this out. I'm going to do the same. Create your sacred space. Dedicate a spot for reflection and connection, whether it's a full altar or just a cozy corner. This is a retreat for grounding and inspiration. Where will your sacred space be? I want to know, and what will you include in that space? So go ahead and take a little bit of time to fill that out. If you want to put it in the chat, I would love that. I'd love for everyone to like share and start telling me about theirs and brainstorming what you can do. Amy said in the chat, when my son moves out, his bedroom is going to be transformed into my office/sacred space. Not that I'm trying to kick my son out of the house right now, but I honestly can't wait to transform that space into what I am thinking in my head. I love it. And now during the warmer months, I have my patio and I love that even more. And then during the cooler months, when it's like hibernation winter time, I literally burrow into the ground in my basement and I tuck myself into a corner. So I've never really created one. It's definitely time. Okay, Delia, so either fill out your workbook or write it down on a piece of paper. And then I would love for everyone to write either if you already have one and you love it, I guess tell us what you love about it. If you have one and you've neglected it, what do you need to do to spruce it back up and start to draw you in again? Or if you do not have one at all, where is it going to be and what will you include in that space? I'd love to see those answers in the chat. Caitlin said, so I have a sacred space and I have made them in the past, but I'm curious how we could update and refresh it over time if you have any recommendations, because though I still love my sacred space, it doesn't call my name as fervently as it used to. Mine will most likely be a box in my closet because depending on how I'm feeling each day and the weather, I move around for my morning routine every day. I love that, Mila. I should get a box too, even for when the weather gets good, because sometimes I'd bring my cards out there. Like when I was making the Soul Tribe Oracle deck, I brought, obviously, it was like that time, it was summertime, and so I'd bring it out onto the patio, but I should probably have a box too that can move from basement to patio based on the time of year. Amanda said, I have one off to the side of my desk, but I'd like to upgrade it this year to a cozy spot on the floor with pillows and blankets. I need it to draw me in more. Jessica said, we moved recently, so I have the space started, but not delicious yet. Okay, so going back to Caitlin's question about how can we spruce it up to call our name, Mila had a great idea, changing crystals out regularly and or charging or cleansing your crystals. I'm not like full into woo with that. I'm not a very good crystal mama. I clutter my crystals. I don't take care of them quite the way that I should, but every so often I'll get this pull, I'll get this inkling to set them out at a full moon. I don't know when the next full moon is, so I can't tell you guys that. I'm sure Yara will know that tomorrow. Charging up your crystals and or getting some new ones. I don't know, Caitlin, the last time you went into like a rock shop, like what are those stores called? Like a metaphysical store. I love a trip to the one by me is called Rock Soul Love. I love when I have a white space day, when I have a little bit of free time, like perusing that. Can I also say this? The cheap hippie in me, you guys, Five Below has such a good section. They have incense, they have like meditation bowls. They have so many cool things. Sage bundles. I don't know if it's ethically sourced. It's Five Below. I don't know, but they have a really good woo section to just add a few little things to your space. Buying a new deck helps. Sarah said the office, but it's also where random things from the rest of my family go as well. as a catch-all, and I don't like how it's set up. So Sarah, you got to do that by January 13th. That needs to be a main focus for you. This was also where I wrapped all the Christmas presents. So this became cluttered and stuff as well, but I have already tidied it up. I knew I was going to do this Grateful AF morning routine, and I knew I was going to be coming down here regularly. Even if you just need to clean up your space, I think that could help a lot. My bedroom has a tiny little room connected to it, so that's my sacred space. I need to make it more cozy. I would love to see what this room entails, and I'd love to help you brainstorm. I'd put like twinkle lights up. I'd make it really vibey. I have a desk, crystals, fake plants, sun catchers, my Soul Tribe Oracle deck, and candles. I need to start taking a blanket with me. A blanket is a must, a super cozy blanket. This one moves from this chair to that closet every single day based on where I'm at. I haven't been wanting to go out there in the mornings when it's raining. I think a blanket would be helpful. See, when it's raining, you got to make that delicious because that could be really beautiful as long as it's not too cold. Maybe a space heater, maybe a little, I don't know, I don't want you to burn the she shed down, but have you seen those little, one of my, the table like fire pit? Have you seen those like with the liquid in it? That, I mean, a little fire could be cool. Love the sacred box idea because I really struggled to find a space that felt right in my tiny house. January 13th is the next full moon. And look at that, and we're meeting. So talk about alignment, talk about perfect. There we go. So we're all going to have all of our crystals charged up. We're all going to be ready to go by January 13th. I didn't even do that on purpose. I have a little space that I use, but I want to get back to walking in the morning. I do feel better when I start my day by getting outside. I love that, Paloma. All right. Last summer I looked around a bit, but those stores are dangerous for me. Yeah, Caitlin, I would say for now then a good clean out. Like spray, clean, wipe things down, get rid of the dust, get rid of the grime. Decide, look at everything that you take out when you clean it up, decide what it is you want to add back in, and then shop your house a little bit. Do you want to take the candle that you love from the kitchen and bring it into the sacred space? Do you want to take your favorite cozy blanket from your bedroom and bring it down to the sacred space? What do you want to do? All right. I get wet in the rain. So just when you walk outside, yeah, you just run out there. Maybe an umbrella right by the door. There's got to be a solution, Lisa.
No, like
Um,
when I have the door open to the she shed,
uh-huh.
then the rain comes in.
So maybe
That's
then
what I
pick a
need.
second option, like how I stopped doing outside. What needs to
Yeah.
take place inside for the days that it's raining? All right. So everybody is filled out, create your sacred space. Next, we are going to move into master your morning, which starts at night. So a successful morning begins the night before with a purposeful closing shift. I think I saw this originally on TikTok or something. I love the idea of a closing shift. I now use that vocabulary with Ryan, and he'll help me tidy up the kitchen after dinner. Closing shift, as if you work in a restaurant and it's time to close down and get ready for the next opening. A simple evening ritual to reset your space and mind. This could include tidying the house, setting out what you need for the next day, and any other special wind down activities. Decide on a wake up time that gives you uninterrupted moments just for yourself, allowing space for reflection and alignment before the demands of the day. By creating a consistent night and morning ritual, you wake up to a clean, prepared, and stress free environment, setting the tone for a grounded and intentional day. Face the day. So do yourself a favor the night before and decide that, Jessica says I want to be able to sleep, decide that you have to close the kitchen at least, or close the house, closing shift, so that when your alarm goes off in the morning, you're more enticed to walk to the sacred space and not get distracted by any of the clutter or chaos that is there. I did the closing shift last night and I got here a whole half hour earlier than normal. Look at that, Leslie. We use the phrase in our house all the time, LOL, because I worked at a restaurant for so long. I'll also tell my kids after dinner, kitchen's closed. Do not try to grab chips. Do not try to grab anything else. Kitchen is closed. You can have breakfast in the morning. You've eaten dinner. You are good. So we definitely close down the kitchen. All right, spend a little time. The workbook, so those of you that have a notebook, it says start each day with purpose by following a structured morning routine that begins with an intentional evening ritual. This helps you wake up to a clean, stress-free environment with time to focus on yourself. What will your evening and morning ritual look like each day? So I want to hear, sink is cleared. Is it the kitchen island is wiped down? Is it the clothes on the bedroom floor are picked up? What is it? Is it a cup of sleepy time tea? Is it a bath? What does that evening ritual look like? Spend a little bit of time writing that in your workbook or your notebook and then put it in the chat so I know that everybody has. Sarah said just setting the coffee timer before bed to be ready when I walk downstairs is the best. It is the best. Coming down to the smell of fresh coffee. Ryan leaves for work before me, so I get that every day and I love it. Megan said, I feel good about my closing shift besides needing to go to bed in an earlier time so I can get up earlier in the morning. So Megan, are you closing your house down and then just like watching TV, scrolling your phone. What do you need to do differently? Maybe plug your phone in the kitchen instead of the bedroom. Amy said, the nighttime routine has been a game changer for me. I have fallen off the last couple of months, but this week I started back up. I put my phone on the charger, I clean up the kitchen, wash my face, brush and floss teeth, set out workout clothes, journal, read, and then go to bed at a decent time. Carissa Warren is our like habit queen. She's on the board of support for this first go round. And in February, she's going to be doing a like habit, ritual, routine training. So challenge, something like that. So I'm excited to dive into that in Soul Tribe as well. I still have a list for the morning and night. Megan said that. And if someone can make my son sleep a little better for longer, I wish I could. I close myself by 9 p.m. Like nothing happens after 9. Even if there's stuff to do, I release the stress of the space outside my room and pick up the next day. That's a good point. Like Kimber's closed by 9 p.m. That's a good point though, Kimber, because sometimes you say, oh, I can't go to bed until closing shift is done. But then I know your playroom, you just did that project. And if you actually held yourself to that standard, you wouldn't be getting sleep. And then you're definitely going to be fucked the next day. I like Kimber closed at 9 p.m. daily, lol. Mine's a little different each night, but my kitchen and downstairs has to be tidy. Everything else varies. Some nights it's a deep clean, while other nights it could be chilling on the couch. I've been catching up on my computer work as of lately, so then I stay up late. I think you should decide what time that all leaves the room, Megan. Kimber said, y'all, the playroom was an episode of Hoarders, but it's all well now. All right. We got all of that written in the chat. Sounds great. It said, I need to deep clean my office and redo my space as a whole. It's too chaotic currently. Love that. Okay. Number 3, is a morning spread, card pulls, and a gratitude jar. In your sacred space, begin your day. And again, this is not going to be for everyone. This is something that I have found after years and years of practicing a morning routine makes me a better person. So take it if it serves you, leave it, you leave it if it doesn't. In your sacred space, begin your day by pulling cards for a morning spread. This practice helps you set intentions, gain clarity, and tap into your intuition. Follow this by drawing from your gratitude jar a collection of notes celebrating the important people and things in your life. Spend time honoring it with immense gratitude. Take inspired action like praying for that person, sending them a thoughtful message, or reflecting deeply on the meaning behind what you've drawn. So 2 years ago, I introduced the gratitude jar, which is I put the name of all the important people in my life, Soul Tribe members, family members, friends, old friends, acquaintances, clients, coworkers, anyone that I want to maybe make their day a little bit brighter, just be intentional. I'm someone that I tend to just forget about people and things, and then someone will do a really nice and thoughtful gesture to me, and I'll be like, damn, I want to be a person that does that. So I have a gratitude jar, day maker jar, whatever you want to call it. It just has everybody's name on it, tons of little names, and I will pull one name out after I pull all of my cards each morning, and it's different every day. Sometimes I feel called to send that person a message and just tell them what they mean to me and send them some love and support and encouragement. Sometimes it doesn't feel appropriate, so I just pray for them and send them a lot of love. Sometimes I have sent a little gift in the mail. It's just my way of having a regular practice so that I can be a person that shows up in people's lives just like randomly, surprise and delight like that. And then last year we added to the gratitude jar and we put in like manifestations, dreams, goals. So along with somebody's name, you could also pull like something that's on your vision board or something like that and spend some time really in visualization. It's a very random practice because there's no way we can do all of these things every single day. So sometimes the randomness of pulling from a jar, whether it's visualizing something that I want to manifest, whether it's a person I want to send love and gratitude to, doing that along with my card pulls, I really like. So you guys can take any version of that you want. Amy said, I love the gratitude jar idea. I do a gratitude journal, but I might have to add this. We're going to get to journaling too, because I read The Artist's Way this year. So you guys know I had to incorporate that into this year's vision casting workshop. So that's what's going to come next. Pull a card or cards from your favorite deck. Just saying the Stylist Soul Tribe deck is pretty awesome. If you don't have it yet, it's inside of that toolkit with all the other links. Pull a card or cards from your favorite deck to set the tone for your day. Then draw from your gratitude jar to reflect on the people, dreams, and objects you're most thankful for. Which decks will you pull from daily, and what names, things, or dreams would you like to include in your gratitude jar? So everyone go ahead and fill that out. Are you going to do that, a version of that? Let me know in the chat. Laura said, I clean the kitchen and living room and then close up. Need to set a bedtime. Yes, Laura, set a bedtime. I love that. That's over on Facebook. All right, I'll give you guys just a couple minutes to add to the morning spread inside the workbook and let me know what it is that you're going to put. Alicia said, last year I did gratitude letters and mailed a handwritten note to whoever I felt called to for each month, and it was fun to do that. I love that so much because she's always moving and on the go being a traveling hairstylist. That's funny. Very true, but that's almost adds to the fun. You're just like this little elf that provides a little magic and people just have to receive it. Okay. So after gratitude jar, number 4 is morning pages. Using the inspiration from your morning spread and gratitude jar. So I pull from 4 different decks personally. I don't know if that's excessive for some people, but those are the ones that really speak to me and that I love. I have a deck that Ashley, I know you're here, and Lane gifted to me a couple years ago. It's like a vintage women's divine feminine oracle deck. I love that one. I have the Angels in Your Biz that I got from Thrivers Live years ago from Emily Aarons. I have an I Am Everything deck, I Am and Co. I've shared those over the last few years, and now I have the Soul Tribe deck that I pull from as well every day. And then based on what I pull, I'll set an intention before I pull my cards, but then based on what I pull, I will journal based on whatever messages I'm receiving. And some days it's so freaky good. It's spot on. I can't even, I'm like, oh my God, I needed these cards. Some days they aren't like crazy in alignment. So I'll like journal on like interesting. I don't know what that means. Curious about that. But sometimes it almost provides me like journal prompts in the morning. Leslie said, I got The Artist Way for Christmas and I'm excited to read it. Yeah, The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. I started reading on my patio this last year, and it's been a long time since a book has impacted my life in the way that The Artist Way did. It's really good. I would highly recommend it. I have the Angels in Your Business too. I like that deck, plus the SST one. I still use my Angels in My Biz from Thrivers too. It's a fantastic deck. I can't wait to get back to the deck that we got from Ashley. Love. All right. So that's morning pages. What do I have on the workbook? Okay, so here, let's get into The Artist Way. So The Artist Way, like I said, is a book by Julia Cameron. I know this is a lot of information. So again, all of this, take what serves you, leave the rest. Write 3 free-flowing pages each morning to clear your mind, spark creativity, and set your intentions for the day. Do you have a fresh journal or notebook to start your morning pages on? How many pages each morning do you commit to filling during this challenge? I challenged the last round of intensive to do 3 morning pages. That was a little extreme for some people, and they did 1 or 2. So again, you can do whatever you want to do, but I think some form of pen to paper incorporated into your morning routine, I have found is extremely valuable. So whatever that needs to be for you, even if it's just 3 things you're grateful for, it's pen to paper, start somewhere. I personally write 3 stream of consciousness journal pages, not every single morning, but on my perfect mornings, I do. Or time limit would work too. Amy said that's a great idea. So maybe set a timer for 5 minutes and just however much you get done in 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is you want it to be. I love that idea. Okay. So that's morning pages. Finish your morning routine with intentional movement or meditation. Stretch, dance, or practice yoga to connect with your body. Then spend 5 to 10 minutes meditating to ground yourself and set a final intention for your day. Choose a word or phrase that reflects how you want to show up each day, such as peace, focus, or joy. So a lot of you said you want to get back into walking. I think write that down under movement and meditation. I know Mila is going to share with us after her breathwork session. She has a subscription for meditation regularly. Kristen Sozman, my dear friend, I know a lot of you guys are part of Rise and Shine 365. Lately, I've been getting back into the Chopra app. I love Deepak Chopra personally. There's a lot of other people that work with the Chopra app, so you get like different voices, different people. Right now, that's what's landing well for me. That's what I'm feeling called and pulled to listen to. That's what I've been doing for meditation right now. Delia said 3 pages was hard, but it was a game changer. Samantha said, I have to admit, I can't do this. But I have started texting things to myself when they come to me in the field. I love that idea. So Samantha, during the retreat, really said that she wanted to get into journaling, and she's been struggling with it. And so rather than fighting that and continuing to try, her little trick right now is texting herself little memos and messages because she gets clarity when she's out in the field taking her dogs out. Anna said, good to know, Delia. Who were you just talking about? Deepak Chopra? I don't know. He's been around for forever. The app is called, I don't even know if it's called Chopra anymore. It has a different name. Let me see. Oh no, I found it. It's called Presence. So it used to be called Chopra, but now it's called Presence. And honestly, it looks like, what was that book we read, Alicia? That it's like a circle with a dot in it. That's what it looks like now.
The
The app,
Creative Way by
The
Rick
Creative Way.
Rubin.
Yeah, it's the same cover as that. So that's interesting. That's the app that I've been using personally. They have free meditations on there, but I upgraded to VIP, so I have full access to all of that. Okay, so fill out movement and meditation. What are you going to do? What does that look like for you? Are you doing a silent meditation? Are you doing a guided meditation? Are you stretching? Are you walking? Are you exercising? What movement and meditation are you personally going to work into your morning routine? Write that down. If you want to put it in the chat, you can. Samantha loves Peloton meditations. Amazing. Love it. So we'll get more information on that after the breathwork session. Okay. Now we're going to move into vision casting. I hope we're good on time. We're at 10:53. I think we should be good. I never know timing wise, like how long to spend and not get distracted. Now we're going to move into vision casting. So if you guys have the workbook printed, you will see this page. It looks a little different than it did last year, but you have 1 through 30 days. And then you have evening ritual, morning ritual, card pull / gratitude jar, morning pages, movement, meditation. You can check all the boxes. If you check every single box, then you are like gold star, VIP, way to go. I'll shout you from the rooftops. But again, also find what works for you. I'm giving you guys all of this abundance of options and ideas so that you can find what is a very delicious, enticing morning routine so that you get up and you actually do it and you become better because of that exercise every single day. The purpose of this workshop is to dive deep into the vision stage, where dreaming boldly is not just encouraged, it's essential. In this stage, we focus on gaining clarity about what we truly want and uncovering the deeper why behind our aspirations. This is your opportunity to reflect on your past, learn from it, and dream forward into a more expansive, aligned future. The vision stage is a mix of excitement and possibility, often accompanied by uncertainty, and that's okay. You don't need all the answers right now. What matters is connecting with those big dreams and letting them guide you. Together, we'll shape a vivid picture of your dream business and life through practical steps like completing your workbook, crafting a vision board that reflects your deepest desires, and sharing your vision with the supportive community. By participating fully, you're not just imagining your best life, you're beginning to create it. So now we're really diving in. We did mindset, now we're really diving into vision. So I like to start vision with reflection. Take a moment to reflect on everything you've accomplished over the past year. These can be milestones in any area of your life, personal, professional, and otherwise. Consider achievements like starting a new job or business, reaching a fitness goal, or completing a significant project. Also think about ways that you've grown as a person. Perhaps you've become more open, resilient, or productive. This exercise is about celebrating your wins, both big and small, and giving yourself the recognition you deserve for the progress you've made over the past year. So I've shared this for the last many vision boarding workshops. My favorite thing for reflection is I have a horrible memory. So I think you should reflect what really stands out to you. Think about 2024. What are like the big things that stand out? Maybe you had a baby, maybe you moved, maybe you started something new, maybe you did like big things in your big business, big things in your personal life. Chances are, if you're anything like me, you're going to write a few things down and then you're going to be like, is that all I did? No way, that's all I did. I like to go through my camera roll in my phone. I like to scroll all the way back to January 1st of 2024. And I like to just scroll through my pictures. And then I remember, oh no, we took that weekend trip to Starved Rock and did a hike with my sister and her family. We did this. We made this amazing dinner at home and then hung out on the patio and listened to music. Or my garden was so good this year. I was my first year gardening and I'm so freaking good at it. I didn't even know how easy it was going to be. So go through your camera roll and look through everything and just take a massive list of every single thing that you did. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. So I'd love to spend some time really reflecting during this, but also know that we only have an hour left for me talking, or an hour and a half. So we're going to spend some time, but also you guys can do this later today. You can do this over the next 11 days before your vision board is made. But I really want you to spend time in reflection. If we just jump straight into vision boarding, you really don't savor and appreciate everything that you did so intentionally in 2024. And even if you have bad feelings about 2024, I think it's important to write those down, but there's also probably a lot of good inside of there as well. And like I said, gratitude is a superpower, and those are the emotions and the things that you want to be feeling when you go into creating your vision board. And even all the negative things, you can write those things down as well so that you can choose to fully release them, heal them if you need to, shine light on it to work through problems so that you're not bringing it in to 2025. Mila said, I wish I had a green thumb. Mila, I bet you do, because I'm telling you, I built this garden bed. I just dumped packets of seeds in and I had so much luck. Maybe I manifested my garden, but I thought it was going to be so much more difficult than it was. And I had an abundant harvest this year. So I think those of you that think you can't garden might be like me, and you actually can. And Amy Weckman is the girl to reach out to about gardening, because she has like a legitimate farm at her house. She'll send me Marco Polos and she'll walk by like a field of flowers, a field of vegetables. She's next level. She has a greenhouse. She does it really hardcore. Oh, Mila, I love the word morning menu. Sorry, I'm way back on the chat now. All right, Lucia said I always go through my photos. So you guys spend some time doing that. I would like to test out. I don't know if this is going to work. I was thinking this before we got on. So Alicia, I see you. Oh, maybe I can't find it. I wanted to. Yeah, I'm going to test this out. Tell me if you guys can hear Spotify playing right now. Oh, that's fun. Can you hear that, Alicia, or no?
Yeah, but it is
What Milo is doing?
quiet. Yeah.
Okay. No, I won't bother with the music. I won't even distract you guys with that. If you have the workbook printed, there are some challenge reflection prompts. First, you're going to reflect and just write out every single thing that you can. I'm going to spend some time doing that too. And then there's some prompts, and the prompts are at the end of the 30 days, reflect on so just this page, you're going to want to reflect on your entire year, spend some time going through your pictures. And then if you feel called to share any fun things that come up, feel free to put those in the chat. Right, amazing. Shelb says, I listen to Rise and Shine morning meditation at the gym when I'm in the sauna. Ooh, I love that. All right, I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to spend some time in reflection as well. Feel free to put in the chat what comes up for you guys. All right, Samantha said, this exercise shines a light. You guys can hear me, right? Yes, you can hear me. This exercise shines a light on my need to work on no longer diminishing the value/joy of accomplishments just because time has passed since the achievement or event. Caitlin said, I'm 1,000% in the same boat with this. Samantha, you want to share a little bit more on what it is you do and why this sheds a light on that?
Not really, because now I'm a little bit emotional about it, but
Only if you feel comfortable.
it's just obviously I've done things, but they're just things now. It's not, it was just another day. Like all the value is gone. All of the importance of achieving anything or completing anything it's time to move on. So there's definitely some deeper
work that needs to be done there. How long would you say? Because I know you, and I just am thinking back to your vision board at the retreat that said, what did it say? Don't run, or it's okay to walk, don't run. And you crossed out run faster, harder, something now. And so how long would you say that the accomplishment or like feeling of joy lasts for you? Is it a day? Is it a week? Like how long do you get to relish in that high before it feels no longer important personally?
I'm not sure. It probably depends on the thing, but
Okay.
the joy of
Yeah.
the marathon probably lasted maybe 36 hours.
Yeah.
Another thing, it said you don't have to run, just don't stop. And I crossed out don't and just, so it says you have to run, don't stop.
Don't stop. Yeah. I know something like that. So yeah, I think that can be an intention moving into 2025 is exploring that. And not that you need to ride the high of one accomplishment for forever, but like I know it feels so long ago now, but it was within this last year, right? And I think we can so easily wake up in the morning or a little voice in our head can tell us that we're not doing enough or we're not achieving enough. And when you actually look at a year, it is crazy what has taken place. I was going to go for another 5 minutes because I really didn't get far in my camera roll, so we might keep going a little bit more. But Caitlin, do you want to touch on that? Because I know you said you're in the same boat as Samantha. I also struggle with comparing one year with past years. Like this last year has had fewer accomplishments than the previous, but that shouldn't make the value of them any less, but I'm still guilty of it. That's something I deal with too. And it's almost, especially as I said, I've gotten really intentional about goal setting and making vision boards and manifesting that I almost, it's like this like success brain trip, mind fuck that I'm like, oh, like I can't keep going because what I've already done, like nothing will compare to those, or will the next year even be close to reaching what this year was. And sometimes I almost find myself not even like trying to dream as hard because sometimes what I've achieved feels like I never thought I even could get that. How could I even go bigger? So I really resonate and understand that. I mean, it's something that I work through as well. Said, going through my camera roll makes me smile so much. For a year that started off so rough for me and made me want to give up, I look back and see how many good adventures I have had and how many adventures I have had personally and professionally. So good. All right, do we need a couple more minutes to keep reflecting, or would we like to move on? Give me a thumbs up for keep reflecting, or move on, Leslie. Just unmute. Tell me what you're thinking. Move on? Move on. Okay, Paloma said move
I was
on.
thinking the thumbs up was going to be for move on.
Okay, then we'll keep moving on, and we can keep reflecting on our own time if needed. Danny said, yeah, my year was wild. I was able to go to 4 different countries. One I went to twice, 5 different states. All of the trips were fairly spontaneous, had some tragic family passings. A parent almost passed away. I feel like I've grown so much this year and I've learned who I am at my core. I feel like this year has showed me to live in the moment and deeply appreciate being alive, being a human right now in this timeline. Not to sound too woo. No, Danny, that's like the most beautiful fucking thing I've ever read in my life. So thank you so much for sharing. Melissa said, even if all you did was survive the year, you did an amazing job. I love that, Melissa. Sorry, I didn't mean to use caps. I thought you really wanted us to move on. Oh, you guys are funny. Okay, so we can keep reflecting on our own time. The next thing I want to ask everyone to do, and I'll give this a couple minutes too. I'm going to make you guys really sit in this one. I want to know if you had to pick one thing, what would you say you are the most proud of in 2024? And if you have to pick like 3, that's totally okay. But I want to know at least one thing. So I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to spend a little bit of time thinking about that. And I want you guys to do the same. And then I really want that to go in the chat. Lucia said buying a building. And what a freaking journey that was. God, I remember you sending me and Leisha those polos of just like, you guys, I really don't know if I should back out. I really don't know what I should do. And you are killing it now. Lucia, I mean, it's so crazy. I always think that, like, don't you just wish you could go back in time to yourself and just like a little whisper of, it's going to be okay, just go for it. Or this is how this is going to turn out. And we don't have the ability to do that. So we just need to remember in the moment when we're so freaked out about making a big decision or doing something big that like, your future self is going to come back and be like, you actually pulled that off, believe it or not. And it's working really well. And you're already dreaming beyond that, believe it or not. Leslie said, putting myself out there more and showing up. Love that, Leslie. And I feel like we just had Leslie's hot seat last month, and it has been a joy, Leslie, watching you put yourself out there and show up this year. You are a different version of you, and not even a better, just a different. You just have shown up. I can tell you've really evolved. You've really done the work, and it is really fun to see the version of you that is going into 2025, because I think 2025 is going to be really freaking big for you, and I'm really excited. Mila launched her meditation membership. What month did you do that, Mila? Me and Mila just got connected. I haven't known her for very long. Oh, you also sent that message on at 11:11 my time, Mila, just saying. Sarah said being able to spend the time I did with my kids. I honestly think that's probably mine too. Moving into this house, creating my backyard that I'm so fucking obsessed with, but my schedule in the way that I spend my time, I'm really proud of right now. I really am. So I would say that's probably mine too, Sarah, because the time just goes so freaking fast. Amy said slowing down to take white space for the year. I love that so much. Being as strong as I have been for my kids. Yeah, you know what, Dreama? What a beautiful way to word that after the year that you had. And again, some years are hard and bring a lot of heavy shit. And that's why I think another reason of marking a line in the sand and spending time and energy with this. But I love that takeaway is what you're the most proud of. And I'm really proud of you for that too. That makes me want to cry. I love you, friend. Delia said opening a salon. I loved that TikTok you posted, Delia. I saw that. I was just scrolling. I didn't even look for you. I think it came up as a suggested friend, and it was Delia showing the process of opening her salon in 2024, which she is an OG Soul Tribe member. She's been in since 2016. She's been talking about that since the 2019 retreat, and it finally came to life this year. Becky finally broke 6 figures this year. That's so exciting. Melissa said the amount of work I've done mentally and on my heart. I love these personal pride moments as well. Danny said, I'm most proud of all the new techie things I've learned working on my business. Love that. Sarah said, yes, I forgot I learned a lot of that stuff. Mila said, July 1st, 2 days before I moved to Texas. So you're about at that 6-month point. That's so incredible. Coming up to it. Paloma said, going to Europe, hitting 100 rides at her spin studio, work-wise, earning that damn price increase finally. I love that, Paloma. I hope that I can say that this time next year in 2025 that me and Ryan pulled off our Europe trip because time is ticking and we have not planned. But I know you didn't plan until like weeks before. So I hope that we can pull that off. Jessica said, was living in a cute as fuck but falling apart old cottage and spent so many meditations manifesting a beautiful house for us to move into. Dream house fell into our lap and the property manager / landlord chose us to move in, even though other candidates were outbidding us because they liked my energy so much. The house is so similar to exactly what I envisioned. I love manifestation stories like that. And I'm also not surprised, Jessica, because you do have very good energy. I don't know Jessica very well. She's not in Soul Tribe, but I know what that person was thinking because even the few times I've connected with you at Thrivers Live in person, you do have very contagious energy. So I love that. Melanie said, finding moments of true peace and figuring out how I like my eggs. I'm hoping it's with cottage cheese because that's the best way to eat them. If you guys don't know, I'm obsessed with cottage cheese eggs. I listened to a podcast this morning. They talked about Runaway Bride and Julia Roberts deciding how she likes her eggs. I love that. I'm really proud of how many mental barriers I broke through with lifting and finally hitting some PRs that I'm proud of with deadlifts and squats. I'm strong as fuck right now, you guys. I just have to say so myself. I can lift some heavy fucking weights right now. Earning a price increase and going on 6 trips. Carissa said 57 more pounds lost this year in addition to the others lost the year before. Absolutely incredible, Carissa. Absolutely incredible. Shelbs on Facebook said 2024 was a year of rebuilding and stripping away what doesn't work in my life and my business. That's good. Leisha said signing my first team member for 2025, doubling her income this year while having 14 weeks off. What a year, Leisha. God, she brought on her first traveling hairstylist team member, which was also not an easy feat. And I also wish you could go back in time and just whisper to yourself when you're freaking out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to build this? It will work out. It's crazy. Physical barriers help break mental barriers. Amazing. Okay. So good, you guys. So that's reflection. So I think we're feeling pretty good about that. Just kidding. Let me read Megan first. It's hard for me to choose one. Completing a kitchen remodel that I designed, which I know was not an easy feat because she was living with her in-laws during that time with her kids, and it was a stressful time. Had a price increase and completed several projects due to joining Stylist Soul Tribe. Joined X Club second and time, or 2X in time, and went to Modern Stylist Retreat. Love Britt and Hunter. Celebrated 10 years of salon ownership and finally had a party and upgraded the salon stations. Hired my first employee. That's a lot, dude. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And again, we need to remember how we feel in this moment when shit is really hard. Because I remember that polo you sent in the SST Mom Life group, Megan. You guys, I am struggling. The dogs, the kids, we're in my in-laws. We need to get out. This is hard. They're amazing, but it's a lot. And look at what you've done. I try to remind myself of this too when I'm having those moments of struggle, that the other side of it, perspective is such a trip and you just got to keep pushing through and keep that in the back of your head. It's making me feel more emotional to think about what I want to be proud of next year. Okay, that's what we're about to move into, Paloma. I know that's always a tough one for you, is moving into setting goals and managing expectations, but going for it and dreaming big, but being scared that you're going to be disappointed if you don't feel it. It's an interesting dance. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, areas for improvement. So this is going to be a lot. I'm going to read them all, but this is where the workbook is definitely going to be helpful. So areas for improvement in the workbook, the page looks like this. Reflect on both your personal and professional life and identify where you want to grow and improve in the coming year. Use the prompts below to dream bigger and create a plan for meaningful change. So we have personal growth, health. How can you prioritize your physical and mental being? Write your ideas. Personal relationships. What steps can you take to strengthen connections with loved ones? How can you create more intentional and meaningful moments with your family? Friendships. What actions will help you nurture uplifting and inspiring friendships? fun/adventure. And I did get rid of the bucket list page this year. So if you're waiting for that, fun/adventure is where I want you guys to write those like bucket list items that you want to take place this year. Travel, that too. Where would you like to go and how can you make it happen? Write your ideas. Professional growth, wealth/income. What financial goals will you set and what actions will you take to achieve them? Schedule, how can you structure your time for greater balance and productivity? Clientele/specialty, what type of clients and projects would you love to focus on in 2025? Professional relationships, how can you build meaningful connections that support your growth? That's soul tribe, that's coworkers, that's clients, that's things like that. Business ideas, what innovative ideas could take your business to the next level? Write out ideas. Knowledge/education, what skills or knowledge do you want to invest in this year? Write your ideas. Now we move into dream bigger, big magic. What bold and exciting ideas are you ready to take action on? So if you're sitting on what feels like it could maybe be a big magic idea, or if you've had an idea in your head for months, maybe years, write it down. If there's nothing there, don't trip about that. That's totally fine. I just want to have a space if you're afraid to write something down to call you out to write it down. Impact and philanthropy, how will you make a positive difference, whether by influencing your community, industry, or the world by giving back in meaningful ways? And that is everything. So I'm going to mute my mic again, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on areas for improvement. And again, these are going to be things that we then go search to add to the vision board. So spend a little bit of time. Hopefully this is some good prompts to get your wheels turning. And if you feel really good about any of them and you want to say them out loud, I do think there's power in manifestation of saying that out loud to the group and fully claiming it. So feel free to write any of those in the chat as well. Anyone want to share anything that's coming up for areas of improvement? Or even if you're noticing a theme of what's coming more natural to you, is it personal, professional, or the dream bigger? I think even just that is interesting, whichever one you're initially more pulled towards. Kind of just looking at everyone's cameras. Megan, what are you the most pulled towards? I see everyone's busy writing, so I don't want to pull them out of their focused state, but I'd love to know what's coming up for you. Would you say you're being more pulled towards personal, professional, dream bigger, all of the above, none of the above? Mila's more personal, pulled towards personal right now. Paloma, are you in a spot that you can talk? Because you also said earlier about how it makes you feel more emotional about that. Share a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like my marriage needs a lot of attention right now. Not
Yeah.
that we're in a bad place. It's just an adjustment period for both of
You
us.
just consensus, yep.
Yeah, just him figuring out what he wants to do with work-wise, and then him wanting kids, me not being ready, wanting to feel like I want us to really focus. And I'm struggling a lot that he's wanting a lot more of my attention. I'm feeling really trapped in the situation, but I know that I need to get over it, but without changing who I am.
Yeah.
Getting there, like I want us to go to therapy. He's not really wanting to. So I'm like, maybe I just go, or
That's a good starting point.
something like that, where I feel like I do need to invest time, even though some of it feels uncomfortable or not what I would want to do in an effort for us to get on the same page.
But again, think of what we just talked about, like going back in time and telling your past self. I just think of my life, and this is what I think of, like when I say healing, some people will be like, what do you even mean by that? And I just think it's important to just look at your life as a whole. And when something stands out, there's just tension there and needs attention or something. I think there's a lot of people that live their life ignoring that, brushing aside, but I really, even though it's uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I need to zoom in on that. That tension, there's something there lighting up for a reason that you really need to lean into. And I'm proud of you for, even though it's annoying, even though you have so many other things you could focus on, zooming in on that. And I hope that a year from now, Paloma's, that really was time and energy well spent. Thanks for sharing that. I know that was a vulnerable share. I appreciate that. Megan said I'm more pulled towards personal right now, physical and mental health and relationships and my family. Megan, that's interesting because I remember you sent me a Marco Polo about how I was talking about a lot of people were talking about just like maintenance and personal, and you were like, I really want to grow in 2025. So when you say we can do both. We can do both, and a year is a lot of time to pass, but that makes me curious to just have you really think about all those things separately and what does growth look like in all of those areas. I also want to share a little tidbit from the retreat that meant a lot to me. When we were doing an exercise like this at the retreat, Annette started getting a little bit emotional and pulled me aside, and she was like, all I have on my list is just me, my husband, the salon, travel, her routine. She's, that's really all I have. I have everything that I want. I don't know what else to put. And she was almost feeling weird that she didn't have anything else to put. And I was like, Annette, you have what so many people wish they have. You have clarity. You've done the work already. You just want to keep going with what you have. And so I also just want to give permission. I know we have this big, huge stack of papers of different things that you can write, but if you are left with a very simple list of areas for improvement, that is okay and beautiful. The personal stuff can feel really uncomfortable. I do want to grow in my business for sure, but the personal stuff has me feeling really emotional. And they say you really can only outgrow yourself you can only grow as far as your personal growth has gone. Like sometimes you need to break down that container or those walls that are holding you back before you can move into the business, let the business keep up once you create that bigger container. Jordan said, unfortunately, I want it all. But after this workshop, I think I'm just going to pull some focus to just one thing. And you know what, Jordan? I say you want it all eventually. And again, a year is a lot of time. But again, going back to your last Soul Tribe call, I remember you saying you really just want to be present. Similar to what Danny said, Jordan had a loss this year. And it just really puts it into perspective for you to just really cherish and love the present moment and where you are. And I think it's nice to have goals and have dreams, but a year is a lot of time. Don't feel suffocated by all those different possible ideas and stay dialed in to what felt important to you. Alicia said, same, I have 8 different focuses. When I said struggling, I mean I am when it comes to mentally and emotionally and physically. Business growth feels like a good momentum right now where the personal stuff feels heavier. If that makes sense, it does make sense. And I think similar to what Paloma was so brave enough to say, I think if there's something there and you know it and you can feel it and you can sense it, I think it's probably your job to zoom in on that a little bit, even though work can be a nice, easy distraction that we can achieve, that we can move forward. Sometimes it's almost like you can only grow in the pot that you're planted in. Paloma said, makes so much sense. We want to distract, but the person will take so much out of you. We were saying that at the exact same time. I want to pull way back on business and focus on the foundation. I've ignored a lot because I don't understand / like some things I can't avoid anymore. Interesting, Paloma. Dream said heavy and focus on something else. LOL, not sure it's healthy. I mean, we're humans, we're trying our best, but the fact that we're sitting here even acknowledging these things and talking about them and putting attention and energy behind them puts us quite a bit further than a lot of people who just ignore that. So yeah, and again, I think when we meet monthly, when we all talk monthly, it's just our job to say what's lighting up right now, what's showing up right now. Oh, Valerie, haven't heard from you yet. She said, I really need to work on mindset. No matter what, I never feel like I'm enough, good enough, and just have imposter syndrome always. I need to find out why. Write that down, Valerie. I'd like to continue to revisit that and do some work there for sure. Areas for improvement got deep, guys. Thanks for going there. Anyone else have anything major they feel called to share? Jordan said, I feel like this was me early last year, so I completely get it. It'll just be a different season, and that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, and you can pull back on work and really focus on what you need to so that when you're ready to come back to it, you're like a bigger, better version and you can really make better traction than had you have ignored all that personal stuff. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Some of you have already done this. So last year I did 10 possible failures and this really tripped Paloma up. I remember specifically. So I'm simplifying it a little bit because my vision board was also full of like lifetime bucket list things. And because we do this every year, we've been doing this every year for years now, I did want to focus a little bit more this year, but I still do believe in the possible failures. So I want to crank things up a notch, list 3 goals or accomplishments that are so audacious, you're almost positive they won't happen this year. Why? Because sometimes we play too small. I want to push you to dream bigger than you ever have before. So I do think not getting super attached, that's why we call them possible failures, because they may not happen this year, but I also think whatever realm of existence or container we can allow ourselves to think through to, sometimes you got to go even further than that, beyond the glass ceiling, further than that. So I want everyone to write down 3 possible failures as well. So like big dreams, best-selling author, travel the freaking world, big new idea, whatever big things that almost feel like they're definitely going to fail. And so it's like a safety net by saying them. I think those should live at least somewhere on your vision board because you never know what big crazy things can happen. Mila said, I just have to share that if you work on your personal and mental health, then the business growth and relationship growth falls into line. I could not agree more. I have lived and learned this to the deepest level since joining Stylist Soul Tribe. Oh, Samantha, yeah, you have agreed. That's why I need to focus there first because we have been talking solo. All right, so spend some time on 3 possible failures. Let me see what that looks like. This is what that page looks like. So we have goal 1, 2, and 3. And if nothing's coming up and you want to leave this page blank for now, I think that's okay. I think you're allowed to do that. Maybe once you start the practice of cutting papers and gluing and something might come to you. No pressure, but I really want to push you to at least 1, 2, or 3 possible failures. Jordan said, I actually love the wording of this. Possible failure sounds so much more realistic. Yes, but it's there. So at least when you get to the point and your life looks like what your vision board looked like 3, 4, 5 years ago, you know what's beyond that. Because let me say, that's also a trippy feeling too. When you get to that point, you're like, I don't even know what else I want. I've built an identity on somebody who like always pushes for more, but I don't even know what that looks like. I think keeping that really far finish line, at least on the horizon, I think is important. It takes the pressure off. I have franchised the traveling hairstylist across the world and am myself fulfilling a contract in Spain. Fuck yes, that is a good possible failure, Alicia. I love that. And I hope that happens in 2025, but I have no doubt that is going to happen eventually, maybe 2030, maybe who knows when it is. And so it's going to be really fucking cool to think back the same way we're thinking back on however many vision casting workshops ago when you had the realization that you didn't want to be behind the chair with your clientele anymore. Crazy shit happens in these rooms, you guys. I would love for anyone else to share possible failures if they feel called. Alicia kicked us off to a really good start of the vibe for those. I realized my vision board from last year was filled with things that were basically already scheduled / planned. I need to lean into this one. Okay, spend some time here, Melissa. I love that. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes. I don't want to rush it. I want to see what else comes up for this. So I'm gonna mute my mic for just a couple of minutes, like 3 minutes. Put them in the chat if you think of them. I've got 3 people watching on Facebook, probably wondering what the silence is. I would love for the people on Facebook to share their 3, at least one of their 3 possible failures as well. We've got some good answers in the chat. Still nothing on Facebook, and I've got 3 people over there. So it's Shelbs, and I don't know who else. Laura, maybe? I want possible failures in the Facebook comments, so I'm highly encouraging you guys to do that. Samantha said, Leisha, you already are magic, which I agree. Buy a building, open a salon with a good friend of mine, and take my 10-year wedding anniversary to Australia this fall. Hell yes, Sarah, I love that. Megan said, I have buy a building on mine too. Megan said, surpass my husband's income, remodel both bathrooms with no debt. Love that. Buy building for salon. Danny said, my possible failures are to hit 6 figures, sell my property, and buy my dream home and meet my fitness goals. I would get a little bit more clear about what exactly your fitness goals are, Danny. Is it a PR? Is it a number on the scale? Is it a measurement? Is it a cadence of how often you're exercising or what that looks like? I do think putting something to rather than just fitness goals, because those are things that no matter how hard we work, it always seems like the goalpost is moving. So I'd love to be able to celebrate that. Ooh, Shelbs on Facebook said earn 20K in Canva earnings in addition to my salon income. And then I want a little masterclass or a resource fair highlight or something for that, Shelves. That is incredible. I'm adding surpassing my husband's income to mine too. I love all of us independent women trying to out earn our husbands. That's amazing. So good. All right, anyone else want to share any other 3 possible failures? Melissa, I'd love to know what's coming up for you because you said you need to lean into this, and I was hoping that you'd put it in the chat, and you haven't. Amy on Facebook said, I'm in the Facebook group getting my salon ready for my first client of the day. One of my possible failures is a little cabin on the lake. I love that, Amy. I absolutely love that. Let me go through and see where Melissa's at. Be the best commission salon in North Carolina. Fuck yes. And what tells you if you are that? Are you winning that award? Is someone telling you that? How do you know if and when you are the best commission salon? Is it a number of staff that you have? What does that look like? Do you show up first on Google? How are we measuring that success? Sarah said, where in North Carolina are you? So they can have that little conversation in the chat. Okay. So that's 3 possible failures. Again, if you guys need to come back to this, that's totally okay. We're trying to stay on track schedule-wise, and I think we're doing pretty good. Melissa said the happiest crew living their best life. I want to know how many of them there are. And how do you know when you've achieved that? Is that like your quarterly meetings? You ask them maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are how happy are they with their current work environments? And they're all checking 10. I don't know what that is, but I think something tangible will be helpful. We're going to go more into that tomorrow too. Okay, so write that down so that you can track it, Melissa. I think you should do that. This is something new, and this is definitely not something we're going to be able to do live. This is like homework for you guys, and I'm very excited to hear these. So 2025 celebration letter. Imagine it's December 31st, 2025, and you're reflecting on an incredible year. You're going back through your camera roll, you're looking at everything that happened in 2025. I want you to write a letter to yourself in present tense. So I'm so happy and proud of, I can't believe the year that we had. Speaking in present tense, not on that day, I'm going to feel this way. Write the date at the top and start writing the letter in present tense, as though everything you've dreamed of has already happened. Celebrate your wins. Describe your biggest accomplishment personally, professionally, and beyond. What goals did you achieve? How have you grown? Reflect on the journey. Highlight the habits, routines, and actions that helped you reach these milestones. How did they transform your life? Capture the feeling. Focus on how it feels to live this dream life. You guys get bonus points if you start crying when you write this letter, because that means you're feeling those emotions now, and that's very powerful when it comes to manifestation, is feeling it now as if it already exists. Include gratitude. Acknowledge the people, moments, and opportunities that made your success possible. This exercise is more than just visualization. It's a powerful manifestation tool. By writing your future in detail, you align yourself with the energy and clarity needed to bring it to life. When you're ready, consider sharing parts of your letter with your community or team for accountability and connection. So anybody who feels comfortable sharing their letter on January 13th, I would love for you to. He actually called it a State of the Union letter. It was one of his things. It was a previous recording from a mastermind I used to be in. He called it a State of the Union letter, and he didn't create it either. He learned it from someone else. But the person that taught it said that he would read his letter to his team. He would have a meeting and read the letter start to finish and say, this is where we're going in 2025. He would read it out loud to them, which is a scary thing to do, to say your dreams that big. But then the team really felt that emotion in the same way and got behind that dream and that vision. If you're brave enough to share it out loud, you can share it on, like I said, on January 13th. You can share it with your soul tribe. You can share it with me. You can share it with a friend. You can share it with your spouse. I do think there is going to be something very powerful in sharing. So I highly encourage that as well. That is the celebration letter. Megan loves this edition. That's like a very powerful manifestation tool. I remember when I was first really getting into manifestation and things like that, I must have heard a podcast or read a book or something. And I remember writing a letter to my future self, and it was about actually my old house that we moved into. And I wrote in detail the house that I was trying to manifest, and it came to life 2 weeks after our move-in date. And I just chose a random date to put at the top of the page. There's something very freaking powerful with this exercise and this visualization. So I'm very excited to hear what all of you have to share with that. So that page in the workbook looks like this. So it's just dear blank, tons of lines for you to fill, and then grateful AF in your name. So you're going to fill that out, and I cannot wait to see what comes of that. All right, and now I would like everyone to share, which we've already shared some of these things, but I'd love to take the time for everyone to share as well, because I think we're coming up on Mila's breath work. Yeah, we're going to go into Q&A. So we're doing great on time, actually. I would love to hear, what are you most looking forward to in 2025? And this is where I'm just going to call on people that I haven't heard from, because I want to hear everyone's voices and be on the same page. Sarah, what are you most looking forward to in 2025? Feel free to unmute and chime in. I can help you unmute. There you go.
This is going to be a big year for me. I'm going to get my
mindset. How are you going to do that?
Mindset to magic.
Okay.
I started going through everything earlier this week and figured out my magic morning and that sort of thing. So I started that today. I was talking to my husband last night about how I've been living, we went through the budget, like our personal budget from December, and December is a bad month. And so it's like, I've been living in this mindset of lacking. and it has spread into my business, and I feel like it's just taken its claws into everything. And
Scarcity
so
is a virus.
I'm actively deciding to make this a year of abundance and going to be working on my mindset a whole lot, especially this first quarter of the year, so that my business can then move into a place where I could open a salon with my friend and buy a building and all that stuff.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I love that. I'm very excited to celebrate that next vision casting workshop, especially because this is your first one. So I gotta try to remember to track that testimonial down and see the progress that you make in 2025. That is amazing.
It'll
Thank you
be
for
big.
sharing. What are you the most looking forward to in 2025?
Finding a new salon home.
Yep, and hopefully that happens pretty early in 2025. Those of you that don't know, Annette kind of was forced out of her existing location and she's in the midst of finding something new. But beyond that, because that's going to happen soon, hopefully.
Yes. To be honest, there's a lot of stuff already planned and scheduled. And because like we're going to Australia and that's towards the end of the year. To be honest, I don't have the big dream.
Are you the most looking forward to Australia?
I am looking forward to Australia.
Yeah, what's the moment? Is it toes in the sand on the beach, or what is it? Is it holding a freaking koala? What do they do in Australia? Is it eating Vegemite? What are you doing?
To be honest, we haven't really started planning. It's just we've got some of the dates, but I'm actually most looking forward to going to the Rolo's store, which they're a clothing store that I came
across. I thought you said Rolo's candy. I was very confused. Okay, a clothing store.
Yes, the clothing store that I've fallen in love with. Yeah.
I can't wait to see a photo of you in front of the store with the logo. I can't wait for that to exist. Thank you for sharing. That's incredible. And I can't wait for you to find your next salon home. But that I have no doubt in my mind is going to happen soon. Okay, Melanie, how about you? What are you the most looking forward to in 2025?
Paris.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to share your funny story about putting the Eiffel Tower on your vision board on accident?
Yes, I was supposed to go to Italy. This is the thing I was going to do with my daughter, and then she is launched and on her own and doesn't want to travel with her mom right now, which is cool. But she had chosen Italy. And when I made my vision board last year, I was trying to find a picture of Italy that I liked and I didn't. So I just went, oh, I'll just throw this one up there. Happened to be the Eiffel Tower. And what happened with the Italy trip, it got switched because I managed to pick the 1 year in 25 that they're doing a pilgrimage, Roman Catholic pilgrimage. So everything was like 3 times as expensive.
What time of the year is that, Melanie? Because we're considering Italy.
Literally goes from, it was Christmas this year till Christmas next year. It's the entire year.
Okay,
so
interesting.
I will go back. So I switched to Paris and I didn't even notice that I'd put that Eiffel Tower picture up there until I had already committed to it and everything. And I looked up and just started laughing.
Yeah, she said Jordan. I think it was Jordan. Someone in her tribe was like, why did you put the Eiffel Tower if you want to go to Italy? And you were like, is that not in Italy? He's like, no, that's in France. And now she's going to France, which I thought, because I would do that shit. I thought that was so funny.
I knew that. Okay, I knew the Eiffel Tower wasn't in Italy, but I just like that picture, the aesthetic picture better.
You were just thinking like European trip. It doesn't matter where, but then it ended up actually becoming Paris.
Because I want to go everywhere. But yeah, so I'm going by myself. I have my plane ticket. I got a really good deal on my plane ticket. I made a connection with a guy that works in a hotel in France, and his name is Jacques, because of course it's a Rick Steves tour of Paris. So it's 11 days, but I'm going to stay 2 nights before and 3 nights after.
Amazing.
And the place I'm staying is a block off the Tuileries. I'm in a really good area because I'm going by myself. Right now, I'm just going through, in fact, this weekend, I'm going to pick any excursions I want to go on and do by myself. I'm so excited. It's really real right now.
I'm so proud of you for booking solo travel, but I'm obsessed with solo travel and in love with it. And I'm so proud of you that even when Rose decided this was not the year for her to join, you are still doing it. And I think it's going to be meant to be. And I don't know what's going to happen while you're there, but it is going to make perfect sense that it was a solo trip. Also, solo travel too. All right, Caitlin said, highly recommend a food tour in Paris, Melanie, or a wine tour, or both. Why not both? It also sounds like me and Ryan are not going to Italy then, huh? We're waiting for our passports to get updated. All right, Christina, what are you the most looking forward to in 2025? Leslie, we've talked about Portugal too. Should we do that?
My parents
Okay.
are from the Azores, which is a bunch of 9 islands off the coast of Portugal. And it's basically called the European Hawaii, and it's half the flight and sometimes half the cost to go
Okay,
there.
I need you to
So
send me a link of that or just what to Google search because that
yes,
I'm
yeah,
in. I'm
yes,
already in. Amazing.
yes. Okay.
My friend Amy lived in Portugal for 6 months and she was telling us to do that too. Dream is okay, maybe that's the answer. We'll see. All right, Christina, what are you the most looking forward to in 2025?
Similar with, I think it was Megan, you were saying, my husband and I were chatting, and we definitely want to take an out of the country trip this year, but we haven't decided where. And Italy was on our list, and Melanie has shared this story with me in a solo polo or in our other group chat. And so we are actually trying to formulate, we're depending on a few places in Europe and or Australia, possibly.
Amazing.
Yes, those are some things that are in the works.
Amazing. Amazing. Love it. That's a good looking forward to. Amy, what are you the most looking forward to? Amy Weckman, what are you the most looking forward to in 2025?
We are taking our girls to Disney World at the end of the month.
Yay! That's so exciting.
Yes.
Have they been?
The older two haven't.
Okay. How long are you going for?
6 days.
Amazing. Are you staying on resort or are you staying off?
So we're staying on. We are, because this will be like our last like trip as a family to Disney World, just because there's so many other places. We are staying at the Animal Kingdom where you look out
Amazing.
into the safari.
We did dinner there at Sanaa for Skylar's golden birthday. We stayed at the Polynesian, but we went to Animal Kingdom Lodge for a dinner and it was incredible. My husband and I are taking our first trip together without kids since becoming parents. I'm nervous but excited. Megan, Ryan and I just did that a couple years ago when we went to Vegas. We never even took a honeymoon. I freaking like him so much when my kids aren't around. It's crazy. I sometimes can't stand him when the kids are around. But when we take solo trips, it is so good for our marriage. It is so good for us. And now the kids are getting old enough. We have started working out together, just the two of us, without the kids are old enough to stay home for an hour or two. And with the age that your kids are at, Megan, getting alone time without your children, you are going to realize you like him so much more than you even thought you did. Bye, Leslie. Christine said, I'm also looking forward to being able to spend time with my family. I know that's important to you this year, Christine, and I'm proud of you for doing the work you need to do to make that possible. I've been laughing because that's how I feel too, Lisa. Yeah, it's wild. We do at least 2 solo long weekends a year. It's a must. I love that. Amanda Tustin, what are you the most looking forward to in 2025?
This is actually the first year that I think we're not going to take any big trips. I've been neglecting my house.
That's okay. It's staycation.
Yeah, so we might do something local, maybe a weekend in Columbus or something. So no big trips for me, but I am most looking forward to abundance in my life in all areas, my business, time with my family, my health, and everything.
I love that. I think you should really write that out in that celebration letter, very in present tense, about abundance and what that looks like in all the different ways that shows up. That's amazing. Love. Jessica, I know your camera off, so you may be busy or distracted, but I would love to hear from you just because you're not someone I get to hear from a lot. If you are able to unmute and share what you're looking for most forward to in 2025, I'd love to hear it. Maybe fair to say she can't. It's okay if you can't. Anyone else feel very called to share? Kimber, do you want to share? You're the most looking forward to it.
Yes, I think I'm honestly looking forward to not having as much on my calendar this year. Like I feel like last year was very calendar heavy. I will be not doing much this year, and I'm excited for that.
What does that look like? What is not doing? Is that just a good balance of work life, being at home? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think I've also neglected my house for quite some time. So I am just doing little projects here and there. We definitely need to renovate my kitchen. So I'm going to save for that. And that's a big reason that I'm not doing a lot of big things this year. There's my kitchen. It's outdated. Like when my kids were little, they managed to destroy everything in the house. Like when Benton was 10 months old, he ripped off one of our cabinet doors and never got replaced because apparently it's a special cabinet door. So I have a cabinet without a door. My sink you can move it in the base that it's in. It shifts back and forth. So it's probably easy to fix. So I'm like, you know what? If I have to recaulk the sink, I may as well just redo the whole kitchen.
And I remember you talking about in Marco Polo that you didn't think this is going to be a permanent house, but now you're content. You don't plan on moving, so you may as well make it what you love.
Yeah. And at this point, even if I stay a couple more years, it needs done. Like it was at a point at one point where it was like, I could move out without it, but now it's like, no, somebody's gonna walk into to a house showing here and be like, no. So I gotta get it done.
Love. Anyone else feel super called to share what they're the most looking forward to? I think this may be one of my final slides of presentation, and I think we go into Q&A. So I'm saying at this point, if you guys had questions, you would have put it in the chat, but I also want to open the door for that. This is your opportunity to ask any questions about vision or mindset stage, the morning practices, or the exercises we've completed. No question is too small. Let's ensure you're feeling clear and confident moving forward. I'm going to assume that if you guys have questions, you'll put it in the chat, and then I'll ask some of these reflection prompts, and we'll spend a little bit of time on that. And then I think we'll have time for a quick bathroom break before Mila kicks us off at 12:30 Central. Dreama said, I put a new kitchen on my vision board a few years ago and I really thought it was out of my league, but it happened and it's amazing. It is amazing. Dreama, it was really fun watching you bring that to life. How long suggested for morning routine to get started? That's a great question, Annette. I would say that is a personal preference. I think some people get overwhelmed. I think you're going to find your good routine for you. For me, in a dream world, if I could concoct my perfect morning, and I don't know if I need this every single day, but just me, and I may be a little bit excessive, I think I am down in my sacred space by 5 a.m. I could spend an hour and a half down there, truthfully, but I know that's overkill for some people, but I love my morning practice. And then I get to everything. But most days I have 20 minutes and I do my card pulls. I do a quick little meditation. I journal a little bit, but I would say an hour and a half for me is like a beautiful amount of time. 20 minutes is like what usually does the trick, though. Hopefully that's helpful. Anybody else has feedback too, feel free to share what your morning routine looks like and how long. All right, what stood out to you the most today? Melanie, what's been your biggest takeaway today? You've been to quite a few of these. Has anything really stood out more than before, or not necessarily?
I like the way the bucket list was restructured because that always is where I would get stuck before.
Okay.
So I put in here, I like how that was redone, and I left one blank, but I had two that just really came to mind right away.
Was that the possible failures, or is that like travel and stuff?
Oh, possible failures.
Would you be brave enough to share them?
Yeah, one is to be debt free by the end of the year.
And
the other one was I wrote, wake up every day in a city that I love, grateful as fuck to be waking up there.
I love that. That's good. That's good.
I want to put a personal one in there, but I started to get a little gridlocked on what I wanted to put in there. So I thought, well,
give it time. It'll come to you.
To me.
No, and I agree. We've had the bucket list in the workbook for a while. And what I found is I personally am really good at dreaming big. I know some people aren't good at seeing as far out in the future, but I can, if the universe is a catalog and I can wish for anything I want, I can fill my vision board full of stuff and just things I'd eventually like to do in this one single lifetime. But then I have found that when I go to look at my board at the end of the year, it's okay, these are going to happen eventually. But I think I want next year to look much more, wow, I really did that. I'll sprinkle a few little things there, but I don't need all the like travel, and I'll take one of everything on this vision board.
Also, I fused those two and the failure list together. They were both
fair.
But yeah, I like that it's separated because I get that perfection paralysis where I want the right thing on. So having it separated actually helps untangle that in my mind when I'm going.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah. Jennifer said, do that for me, Lisa. I'm awful at it. I've always been great at that. I can see 2,000 steps ahead. I don't know if I can see the next step, but I can definitely see 2,000 steps ahead. Kimber said, it sucks. But in my routine, I have to be up and done with my own movement and meditation before my kids are awake. Kids are so great, but it's such a huge distraction. I can only truly focus between 5 and 7 a.m. And 5 and 7 a.m. to me, that is like a dream. If I can actually get that amount of time and my kids stay asleep. I didn't want to really overwhelm you guys and say longer than an hour and a half, but 20 minutes definitely will do the trick. But the more time I get, the better. Then I can do a longer meditation, then I can journal more, then I can set my intentions for the day and go from there. I'm so bad at future thinking, so my vision board is going to be more based around my dream daily routine. That's what we're really going to dive into tomorrow, Kimber, so I'm excited about that. And then a couple of things I will achieve this year because can't is not an option. Hell yeah. I'm going to shoot for 30 minutes, Megan. Ryan says. Amazing. How do you feel about the vision you're starting to create? I'm just going to look and see who's calling my name. Amanda, I'd like to hear from you. How do you feel about the vision you're starting to create? Oh, you're muted. There we go. And what does that vision look like? What is on the agenda for you?
So my vision for the year is being focused and organized. Really excited to start my morning routine back up. I also need a kitchen remodel.
Oh yeah, everyone's getting a new kitchen.
Yeah. And that was on my vision board last year. We finished our basement last year and we took out a home equity line of credit to do that. One of my big goals for the year moving forward is to put a big dent in that home equity line of credit because I can't get a kitchen until I pay that
Well,
off.
that's gone. Yeah, fair. Totally
So
fair.
it's sad. I'm very sad that we're not doing like a big family vacation because we have been doing one every year for like the past 5 or 6 years.
Exactly. You can't juggle all the plates at once.
And we've just been, we need the boys' bathroom needs to be redone. We have some work to do outside, and we've just been neglecting the house because we'd rather be traveling. But we do have a Disney trip planned for January of 26.
Amazing.
But yeah, I'm excited for this year and really just getting my debts paid down so that we can move forward with more fun things.
Hell yeah, I claim that as well. That sounds incredible. What steps or ideas are you guys the most excited to take action on? Again, tomorrow, all of tomorrow's content is basically new, unless you were at the retreat. This has not been part of the vision casting workshop, but we're going to really reverse engineer tomorrow. So I would love to hear if anybody's already thinking about steps that they need to start taking. Okay, we have big vision, but what do I need to start doing to get there? Or are we feeling stuck on that in between? I'd love to get a vibe check on that. Flipping through, seeing where everyone's at. Paloma, how are you feeling? Do you got steps for?
I don't have specific steps, but I am really just thinking that I have to, like Kimber had said last year, pull the car back and really just stay away from new things and just put the focus into what needs to be done, even though it doesn't sound fun or exciting, or I know that it's important and that if I don't do it, a lot of things are gonna fall apart if I don't.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think even setting aside the time to just do this and say it out loud so that when the next shiny thing pops up, you can say, no, not this year. If that still feels important this time next year, you can decide when it is. But right now, this is the focus. And I think that it's important to say that out loud. That's always my hope, is that these kinds of things don't just, I love the focus and the intention. I think a lot of people probably need to hear that. So thank you for sharing.
Like you, or it's easy to dream of all these things and take on new projects. And it's not as fun to be like, nope, just do this one step in front and keep going. I think it's time.
But after time, it really is extremely empowering to have the willpower and the strength to say no to something so that you're not saying yes to everything and then having a mess to clean up. So I love that. I would like to get a routine that is pointed towards a better future. Yeah, I love that. Annette, will you unmute just because we got a little bit more time before we take a quick break before Mila does her breath work. But I would love to hear just a little bit more about that from you, Annette. And then, like I said, tomorrow we're really going to get, but you were at the retreat. So I guess tell me how can I help you, even just for my own intention after a night of sleep and going into tomorrow? How can I help you find those routines and those habits?
Part of it is getting my husband on board with some of the routines and habits.
Tell me more, because I don't know if I agree with that, and I think that might hold you back if that's your mindset going into it.
So our evening routine is very much, I get home from work, I take a shower and eat dinner, and once I sit down, it's just done. And we're watching TV for a couple of hours and then we go to bed. And honestly, I've been on my phone a lot after I go to bed. So just taking some of that time to work on that stuff and just to be on the same page with some of those things. That our house is not large. So if he's watching something, I either have to kick him out of the living room or be in my bedroom where I don't have a comfortable seating area. And I want to spend time with them. So.
Yeah. Paloma said same, and Megan said, oof, I feel the getting husband on board feeling. I'm just going to say this, you guys. And Ryan and I do not have a perfect dynamic by any means, but I'm telling you, it is wild how much Ryan has started to shift and adjust into what I have created, because he repelled it for a long time. And if you guys have been on vision casting workshops, you've probably heard me say that years ago. He was not in alignment. He traveled for work, so I had my own time to set these things up and have my own little rituals. But I learned It's one of my favorite quotes: expect nothing, appreciate everything. I think I'm just going to leave this for all of you that need your husbands to get on board. If you fully release that expectation, 1000%, you cannot control anyone else. You can only control yourself. And rather than setting yourself up to get frustrated with somebody in the future, I would, when it comes to goal setting, only focus on you and take action only as you, and hope that movement brings that kind of wavelength to a similar place. But I encourage you to not hang on to that too much, because then what happens is, we just did this 2-day vision casting workshop. We're fucking hopped up. Your husbands have no idea what the hell Lisa Huff in Illinois is saying on her Stylist Soul Tribe Vision Casting workshop. They are going to be like, stop it. What are you talking about? I'm not doing that. I'm cool with my nighttime routine. I think you should just start leading by example, internally choosing that, so you're not resenting in the meantime, because that's not going to be helpful. And there's something that happens, you guys. I'm telling you, Ryan and I are now exercising together some days, 7 days a week. I told you he started the closing shift. I could not have pushed him into that. That had to have happened naturally. I had to raise myself up and raise my habits and my behaviors up. And he just matched my frequency eventually over time. What are you going to be expecting me to do after this? I also know that I need to work on myself and see where I can maybe inspire him. Yes. And don't even do it for the sake of that. Just know that will come naturally. It is more of me not taking the energy that I need to work on. Yes, let go of expectations. I just say that to protect your feelings, because it sucks when you have these expectations and then you get frustrated, then you get resentful. I do, but lately it's caused conflict. That's because he wants you, Paloma. He wants your attention. Yeah, that's tricky. That might be for a therapist, not me.
No, he wants my attention, but then also I feel like it's important for us moving forward to have similar goals that we're working towards together. And he's not comfortable talking about stuff like that. So it's hard.
I think you should just keep pushing forward, Paloma. I hope, maybe not, maybe eventually, I can't predict the future, but I hope that with you, I learned as when I first got, awakened to all of this shit, I was so like, oh my God, you have to get it on this. And he repelled it because I was so extreme. He didn't understand it. It sounded like a lot. It wasn't his journey. As soon as I fully released that, I'm telling you guys, he's getting more and more into the shit as time goes on. He's fear-based, yeah. But I think if you show him and you lead by example, Paloma, and show that fear, because again, when I started all these things, none of this shit I was doing was making me any money. It now provides us the life. He can't deny it anymore. It worked. So I think you just need to keep moving forward. And sometimes you need a track record to prove yourself. And I think that's also fair, because we would probably need guys to do that, our guys to do that as well. I agree, Lisa. Justin was holding me back until I decided I don't give a fuck what he's doing. I need some non-negotiable things, and I just do them. He has actually called me out and pushed me to do the things I need. It took a few years, but it's so much better now. That makes me so happy to hear, Samantha. That is where you guys are at right now. These husbands, I know, but it's not, oh, go leave your husband. It's not at that point. We love them. They're great. We can't expect our friends. I remember I used to want my sister to be on the same level because I spent so much time talking to her. We can't expect people to match this level. We just have to confidently and comfortably be there solo and take our own journey. And if it inspires others to be drawn to you like a magnet eventually, that's fine. But I really think there's something powerful in getting there on your own. One of the things I'm most proud of becoming more aligned with my husband. We still have work to do, but it took so long to get to this point. It's hard work, Amanda. I agree. I think it comes down to really owning and knowing the why. Amen, Samantha. Okay, we are at 12:16 my time. I think Mila's camera off. She's probably getting her son ready. Mila, feel free to unmute. Are we good for about 15 minutes? Caitlin said, I think it's important to remember that's what we have Soul Tribe for. We won't always have the people in our immediate circle who understands us, but this community does. That's why I created it, because I was craving that so bad. And I have realized a lot of it is just solo work. It's stuff I just have to do on my own, but it sure does help when you have people to blab about this stuff too, when other people are not available to hear it at the time. It all works out. Kimber said I tell him to get with it or get out and don't follow me for marriage advice. Sometimes they need to know how serious we are. Sarah said my husband has never been home in the evenings until 4 months ago. Ryan used to travel for work all the time. 13 years of nights by myself, and now I have this guy expecting me to hang out with him all the time. I know what you're talking about. It really throws us for a loop. I was like, no, we're so funny. Oh, what a fun turn this has taken. Well, I have replay of breathwork. Megan, since you're VIP, yes, the breathwork will be emailed to you. It will not live inside of the Facebook group because it's a VIP only. It's exhausting when you feel like running forward and they're hanging onto your shirt, pulling you back. That is exhausting, but I'm going to tell you, Jennifer, maybe change your perspective. I don't know, maybe therapy would tell you he actually is holding you back, but I don't believe that anyone can hold me back, personally. I had to get to the point where my parents couldn't, my husband couldn't, my kids couldn't, my current situation couldn't. I just stopped choosing that narrative and it worked. So I know that's hard. Sometimes it feels like they are. And let me say this, Ryan's in a bad mood. That wears off on me and vice versa. So sure, in the micro, sometimes yes, but I think big picture macro, you need to choose that's just not an option. That's not how it works for you. You have to decide that. All right. You'll get the replay. Okay, Mila's here. Mila's good to go. LOL, the husband college vote took off. It always does, Leisha. Leisha's always, Caleb's great. So she can't relate, but they're all different. We're all wired different and we love everyone for who they are. But I just think we have to get to our own good spot. Okay, good. Because I really want that breathwork session. I will look out for that email. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing on Facebook. First things first, I'm going to stop sharing on Facebook, end live video, and I have to hop off and get to the salon but look forward to the replay, and I'll be back tomorrow. And then tomorrow, joining us at 12:30. She's going to be doing some like astrology stuff and a manifestation conversation. Taylor and Caleb are so great. Same thing tomorrow. I think Yara is going to go till 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I didn't know exactly how long those people needed. And then we will get into breath work, which I'm very excited about. So I'm just going to turn my camera off and mute yourself if you can, but we'll kick that off in 10 minutes.